president wasn't attending a sporting event or something else. But saying that the economy is A+++, calling the affordability crisis a hoax, these are things that the American people just know aren't true. The affordability crisis is at their doorstep. They know it is more difficult to live under the Trump economy than it was previously, and they're holding him accountable. And that's coming through, not just in public polling, but it's coming through in our elections. Hello, everyone. Honored, as always, to be joined by Vice Chair Ted Lieu and also Representatives Sarah McBride and Shamari.
Most people have never heard them, but they describe a real judicial mechanism that exists in the federal court system that has genuine legal significance, and that is being invoked in this video's title as the basis for a claim that 29 judges just unanimously revolted against Donald Trump and are demanding his removal. David Harper is going to explain what en banc review actually is, what it actually does, what would actually constitute a 29-judge decision, and what cases it would need to involve to mean what this video claims it means. And then David Harper is going to tell you honestly what he could and could not verify about the specific decision being described here. Because that honesty is the only thing that makes this channel worth watching when something real actually breaks.
Members to Congress who have been amazing advocates for their communities, for their regions, and honored to have them here. We're here today because Donald Trump and House Republicans are failing the American people.
This is like an arsonist setting fire to a house and then bringing a garden hose to try to put out a 5-alarm fire. These are no solutions to actually grapple with the healthcare crisis that they created. The Republican...
My name is David Harper. Before we go 1 second further, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now, drop a like on this video, and leave a comment below telling me this. Have you seen this specific 29-judge decision reported by any verified news source? Because David Harper looked, and what he found matters for how you evaluate everything this video claims. Subscribe, come on. Stay with me. Okay. You just watched a real Democratic press conference. Vice Chair Ted Lieu of California, Representative Sarah McBride, Representative Shamari Figures, talking about Trump and Republican failures on healthcare and the economy. Real people, real statements, real political context, and the economic commentary underneath that footage is real too. The affordability crisis at the doorstep of American families. The disconnect between Trump calling it a hoax and what voters are experiencing in their grocery bills and mortgage payments and cost of living. The election showing accountability happening at the ballot box. That is all real, and it connects directly to the 23-point swing with non-college voters that David Harper has covered in detail. What David Harper cannot verify is the specific 29-judge decision that this video describes as a judicial revolt that could force Trump to step down. Let David Harper give you the names. Every name matters. Donald Trump, President of the United States. Approval rating cited in this video as 36% with 58% disapproval. David Harper has been using 42% approval as the verified number across this series. The 36% figure cited here does not come with a source, and David Harper was unable to verify it independently. The direction is really approval is declining. The specific number needs a source. Representative Al Green, Democratic congressman from Texas. Real person with a real and documented history of presenting impeachment articles against Trump. Has done this multiple times. The claim that he is filing articles before Christmas, specifically in response to this 29-judge decision, is the connection David Harper cannot verify because the decision itself is not independently verified. Vice Chair Ted Lieu, California Democrat, present in the real opening footage. Real statement about Republican failures. Representative Sarah McBride, Delaware Democrat, present in the real opening footage.
Real.
Representative Shamari Figures, Alabama Democrat, present in the real opening footage.
Real.
Lisa Murkowski, Republican senator from Alaska, mentioned as a potential Republican defector on impeachment. Real senator, real history of occasional independence from Trump. Previously crossed party lines on war powers vote that David Harper covered. Mitt Romney, former Republican senator from Utah, mentioned as precedent for Republican crossing on impeachment.
Real.
Voted to convict Trump in the first impeachment. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican representative from Georgia, mentioned as having public feuds with Trump on various issues. Real and documented. Those are the names. Now let David Harper walk you through what he found when he tried to verify the central claim of this video. Let's start with what en banc review actually is. Because understanding the real mechanism is the foundation for evaluating whether the 29 judge claim is a real event being accurately described or a real mechanism being dramatically misrepresented. Federal appellate courts are organized into circuits. The DC Circuit, which handles many cases involving federal government actions, has a full court of judges. When a case is heard by a standard 3-judge panel and one party believes the decision was seriously wrong on an important legal question, they can petition for en banc review. En banc means the full court sits together to reconsider the case. In the DC Circuit, that full court currently has a specific number of active judges. Depending on the current composition, a full en banc DC Circuit could involve somewhere in the range of the number this video describes. So the mechanism is real. En banc reviews happen. When they happen, it means the full court has concluded a case raises questions significant enough to warrant reconsideration by all active judges rather than just the original 3-judge panel. Courts do not grant en banc review for minor procedural matters. They grant it when a case involves genuinely important legal questions or when there is serious concern that the panel decision got something significantly wrong. That part of the channel's analysis is accurate. If an en banc review happened in a case involving Trump, and if the full court voted to vacate a lower court ruling that had been favorable to Trump, that would be legally significant. It would signal that the majority of the appellate court found the previous ruling flawed enough to require complete reconsideration. That would be a real development worth covering. Here is where David Harper's verification effort produced a problem. He could not find independent verification of the specific 29-judge decision this video describes. Not from the Washington Post, not from the New York Times, not from Reuters or AP or any verified legal news source. A 29-judge en banc decision in a case involving Trump would be significant enough to generate substantial coverage in legal and political media. The absence of that coverage from verified sources is a significant credibility problem for the central claim of this video. This does not mean the underlying pattern the video describes is false. The pattern of judicial defeats for Trump is real and extensively documented. David Harper has covered it across multiple scripts in this series. Robert's writing usurping the tariff ruling, the deportation due process ruling blocking the Alien Enemies Act enforcement, Judge Boasberg's criminal contempt finding for the administration's defiance of deportation orders, the 35 federal show cause orders in immigration cases, the 10 contempt findings from Judge Merchan, Judge Engoron's hollow and untrue finding. That pattern is real, documented, and significant. What David Harper cannot confirm is that all of that pattern crystallized into a specific 29-judge unanimous decision demanding accountability that the channel is describing as imminent resignation territory. The real pattern is serious enough. The specific event being invoked as the trigger for resignation appears to be either unverified or dramatically mischaracterized. Let's talk about what is real about Al Green in the impeachment picture. Because Al Green's history and the broader impeachment infrastructure David Harper has covered deserve accurate treatment independent of the unverified judicial decision. Al Green is a real congressman from Texas with a genuine and extensively documented history of presenting impeachment articles against Donald Trump. He has done this multiple times. He used privileged procedure in December 2025 to force a floor vote on his impeachment articles. 140 House members voted against tabling, against killing the articles procedurally. That is the real data point that David Harper has cited across multiple scripts. Real votes, real members, real congressional record. Green presenting additional articles is entirely consistent with his documented pattern of behavior. He does not wait for Democratic leadership to decide the timing is right. He files and forces votes and puts members on record. That strategy has a genuine political logic that the channel actually identifies correctly. Even unsuccessful impeachment votes serve purposes. They force Republicans to go on record defending Trump at moments when the political environment makes that defense expensive. They build the documentary record of what specific members did when presented with specific constitutional arguments. They maintain the visibility of impeachment as a live political issue heading into the midterms. The channel is also correct about something David Harper wants to acknowledge explicitly because intellectual honesty requires recognizing good analysis wherever it appears. The argument that impeachment serves midterm purposes even when it fails is accurate. Democrats can run on try to hold Trump accountable, and Republicans blocked us. Now, that message is more powerful when there is a specific vote on record rather than just general rhetoric. And with 140 House members already on record from December 2025, the foundation for that message exists and is documented. What is not accurate is the specific causal chain the video presents. The 29-judge decision, unverified, triggers Green filing articles, presented as directly caused by the judicial action, which produces a resignation trajectory within weeks. That specific sequence depends on an event David Harper cannot confirm happened. The real green impeachment history and the real 140 vote baseline exist independently of whether that specific judicial decision occurred. Now let's talk about the approval numbers. Because 36% approval and 58% disapproval are specific numbers cited in this video without a source. And the difference between those numbers and the numbers David Harper has been using across this series matters for accurate analysis. David Harper has been using 42% approval consistently across this series as the verified baseline for Trump's approval rating in the early months of his second term. That number comes from verifiable polling aggregates. It is a real number. It is historically low for a president 3 months into a second term. It represents a genuine political vulnerability that is directly relevant to the 23-point swing with non-college voters, the 5 Republican senators voting for war powers constraints, and the congressional calculations David Harper has documented. 36% is a meaningfully different number. The difference between 42% and 36% is not trivial. 42% is historically low but survivable. 36% is approaching the territory where even the most loyal partisan protection calculation becomes difficult to maintain for members in competitive districts. If Trump's approval has actually fallen from 42 to 36 in recent weeks, that would be significant news that verified polling sources would be reporting extensively. David Harper did not find that reporting. The channel may be using an outlier poll. It may be using a poll with a specific methodology that produces lower numbers than aggregates. It may be presenting a number that is not current or not from a representative sample. Without the source, it is impossible to evaluate. And without the evaluation, it is irresponsible to present as fact in a political analysis that uses the number to argue resignation is imminent. David Harper wants to be clear about why this matters. The real approval number, whatever it actually is, tells you something genuine and important about the political environment. The real pattern of declining approval with non-college voters tells you something genuine and important about the 2026 midterm landscape. The real 5 Republican senators voting for war powers constraints tells you something genuine and important about whether partisan protection is cracking. All of that is real analysis based on verifiable data. Presenting an unverified number without a source and using it to argue resignation is imminent is the kind of thing that makes the real analysis less credible by association. The real data is compelling enough. The inflation of that data with unverified numbers undermines rather than strengthens the argument. Let's close by being honest about what David Harper believes is true, what he cannot verify, and what the real picture of this presidency looks like based on documented evidence. What David Harper believes is true. The pattern of judicial defeats for Trump is real, extensive, and constitutionally significant. Roberts' writing usurp in the tariff majority opinion with 2 Trump appointees joining is real. The deportation due process ruling blocking Alien Enemies Act enforcement without due process hearings is real. Judge Bosber's criminal contempt finding for willful defiance of his deportation orders is real. The 57 out of 165 immigration cases where the administration defied court orders is real. The 35 federal show cause orders in immigration enforcement cases are real. The 10 Merchant contempt findings are real. The hollow and untrue Engoron finding is real. The pattern those facts describe is the pattern of an administration that has made strategic non-compliance with judicial authority a policy tool that has used friendly appellate judges to shield that non-compliance from immediate accountability, and that has built a governance model around the premise that the courts can be managed rather than obeyed. That is a real constitutional crisis, even if it is not the dramatic 29-judge revolt this video describes. What David Harper cannot verify. The specific 29-judge en banc decision described in this video as the trigger for resignation momentum.